Now, a lot of clients ask us, how can I juice up the dividend of my portfolio? So I'm going to be answering this in a couple of different ways. And the first question I'd be asking you back is, why do you want more dividends in your portfolio? I think a lot of people wrongly assume that you can get more dividends in your portfolio and still maintain the same level of capital growth. But they're interchangeable. And if you actually want more dividends, you have to give up some capital growth, or at least give up some capital growth expectations in your portfolio. So really, the reason that a lot of people could justifiably want more income is if they want to be drawing down some of that income to live off, and there's a reason why they want that income from a tax perspective. And if that's the case, there are a few different ways to juice up the dividends of your portfolio. We've designed a few within the StockSpot approach. The first one is by adding a dividend theme to your portfolio. So by adding a dividend theme, it's like a core satellite approach where you have your core StockSpot portfolio and you can bring in some higher focused dividend ETFs. We tend to pick those that are Australian share focused because they have higher dividends than global shares. That is one way of increasing the dividends within your portfolio. Although we try and be very careful at StockSpot not to add too many of these dividend stocks, because it can tilt the risk of your portfolio and exposure to certain sectors of the market, and you don't want too much of that, otherwise your portfolio can become too volatile. So adding a theme is one option. The other one is we've actually created a dedicated portfolio called the StockSpot Topaz Income Portfolio. Now this is a dedicated high growth portfolio focused on having a higher dividend yield, but very openly it comes at the expense of capital growth. So you can expect to earn at the moment about an extra 1% per year dividend yield, but that will come most likely at the expense of 1% less in capital growth. And if that makes sense for you, then it's certainly an option to consider. But I think the most important point is there's no freebie when it comes to dividends. If you're aiming for higher dividends in a portfolio, you should expect the other part of your return, capital growth, to be a little bit less, and vice versa. If you're happy to accept lower dividends in your portfolio, which can be beneficial because you have to pay tax on dividends, then you can potentially earn higher capital growth, and then we've got options for that as well.